Today we'll be ranking all the volumes in LOTM. Before I start, please note that most of the volumes are 10 out of 10s, so it's pretty hard to rank them. These are just my opinions as well, so there's bound to be controversy. Starting off, in last place we have Volume 2, Faceless. This volume certainly had many iconic moments, such as Lanvis's death and the battle with the Rose School of Thought, Black Hero Bandit Emperor, as well as being introduced to many new characters such as Sharon, Merrick, Emlyn, and the Goat Amon. The ending was really good as completely chaotic as well. The first half of this volume was pretty good, and if it was consistent in the second half as well, it would definitely be higher on this list. The second half had such random things happening, and Klein's commissions in the second half were really boring and out of place. The pacing was pretty horrible, but it managed to pick up at the end and deliver an amazing ending. I especially liked the battle at the underground ruin Klein has with Mr. A. Other notable scenes were Klein's new identity, Sherlock, and the advancements of Klein's sequence. Fun fact, this is actually the volume where Klein advances the most, from sequence 8 all the way to sequence 6. It was enjoyable seeing him act as a magician especially. Next up we have Volume 1, Clown. It is honestly a perfect introduction to a story like LOTM, and the ending just truly blew me away. Yes, this volume was pretty slow, but it became pretty interesting after the clown fight around chapter 76. Most of this volume was slice of life, and while I was reading it, I was pretty bored. But looking back, I realized it was extremely great and a true masterclass. I truly miss it more than anything. I was blown away by how everything came together at the end, from the Antigonus diary to Trissy to Lenovis. The way it all tied together really was amazing, and I will probably never be able to capture that feeling ever again. Literally, when I read chapters 209 and 210, I had absolutely no idea what would happen next. Like, no predictions, nothing, just completely blank. The deaths in the volume were gut-wrenching. Old Neil dying so easily and early on in the story really showed me the story was different. And Kenley and Dunn, man. We saved Tingen. Ince Zangwill 008, Klein dying. And the final line, which stuck with me the most. It was a happy smile, an exaggerated smile, a ridiculous smile. Now, in 6th place, we have Volume 4, Undying. Note that it is barely pushed down to 6th place and could easily be in 5th. Although the pacing slowed down just a bit, compared to the fast pacing of the previous volume, it was still really enjoyable all throughout. Again, comparing it to the previous volume, with constantly being on the sea, there were only 4 major events in this volume. Or at least that's how I like to divide and think about it. Right before the first event was Klein killing Mr. X, which was pretty cool, and Klein using the mental terror candle to destroy his alternate personality. Anyways, the first major event was Klein and Alger exploring the primitive island and getting that massive lore drop about the ancient sun god and how he was betrayed. When they left the island, it just disappeared, which was probably the work of Adam, although I can't remember why he did such a thing. Next was what I consider the best mini-arc in the entire series, the Hornisus Mountain Range, or Foggy Town arc. This was actually absolute cinema. I cannot stress how amazing it was. It all started with Klein trying to pull off the Antigonus notebook heist, but miserably failing. Again, when Klein was erased, I really had no idea what would happen next at all, sort of similar to the end of Volume 1. But the Foggy Town arc was just the perfect blend of action, lore drops, mysteries, and horror. It was a masterpiece. The third major event was Klein, Sharon, and Merrick stealing the mummy from the Rose School of Thought, which was a pretty fun battle where we saw the fraud Sua. But the ending is what makes this volume so good. The reveal that Adam was there all along, Ince Zangwill's death. The last dance, the cocoon reveal. Absolute cinema. Now that I think about it, this probably belongs in 5th or even 4th place. But I'll just continue on with the list that I had originally made. Now, 5th and 4th place are tied, so I'll just talk about Volume 5 first. Red Priest. Oh man, this was an amazing volume. And it started off with a bang with Eamon immediately taking the center stage as the main antagonist. We all developed a fear of monocles. The demigod fights in this volume were the most entertaining to read since it wasn't too symbolic and just the right amount of power. Klein as a sequence 4 and 3 were super cool, and Hall of Truth was fun as well, but this volume is carried by the ending. George III's apotheosis, the chaotic fight, Adam's appearance, and the generational cliffhanger with Aemon. The foreshadowing all the way from Volume 2 also came back and tied around in this volume. Truly absolute cinema. The next tied volume is Volume 3, which was such a big step up from the slow pacing of Volume 1 and 2. Gehrman Sparrow was such an amazing identity, and his bounty constantly going up throughout this volume was so fun to see. This whole volume gave off a pirate adventure vibe. And Dannett's and Anderson dynamics with Klein were hilarious, though, and made this volume really funny. It was really just a non-stop action volume, starting off with possibly the best introduction in the first 4 volumes of the series with the Banshee Harbor stuff. That crap was genuinely more terrifying than 99% of horror stories. But anyways, Sea God Calvetua stuff was pretty cool, as well as Klein finally getting a messenger, Rionette Tinker. Some other notable things was Klein in the Sea of Ruins and also the Grossel's Diary arc. The ending fight was pretty cool, although it was a bit lackluster compared to others, probably the weakest in the whole series. Nevertheless, solid volume. And now finally we enter the top 3, arguably the most generational last 3 volumes in all of fiction. Sadly, one of them does have to be in third place though, and that goes to Volume 7, The Hanged Man. After the absolute crazy crap happening in Volume 6, this was like the calm before the storm in Volume 8. Merlin Hermes was so amazing and refreshing to see, and he really is a truly good person and role model. The Truaness Brass Book arc was a bit away from the plot of the story, but I was no complaining. It was really such an entertaining read. It really showed how powerful Klein became compared to Volume 1, and also his good humanity compared to other angels. But most of all, that Utopia arc gave me literal chills. And I can never forget chapter 1335 titled I. It's so beautiful and disturbing at the same time and truly showed the bizarreness of the seer pathway. This was top 3 character peaks for Klein, and the ending, although cut a bit short, was amazing as well. The lore reveal with We Meet Again, Mysteries was actually so damn crazy. Adam is a true menace. Also, we got to see the blasphemy slates and all the information about above the sequences. The ending was pretty good as well, with Klein killing the fraud, Zeratul. Man, this part Cuttlefish kind fumbled. Like, at least make the fight longer, or much more reasonable, like Zaratul was hyped so much only to be a fraud. The title drop was amazing as well, and Mr. Door's death was sad, alongside Aemon ascending to godhood. Finally, I have one thing I hate about this volume. It literally could have been 50 chapters longer and still be peak, like we needed so much more Merlin Hermes. Next up, we have Volume 6, Lightseeker. Where do I even begin with a masterpiece like this? From start to finish, it was so amazing. From Klein and Aemon's mind games to Moon City to Kotar, Palace being jumped, Chernobyl, the info about above the sequence, the moon turning white, hunting Botis, Rose School of Thought, and finally the masterpiece ending. I'm going to emphasize Chernobyl again. Like, holy crap. That might be one of the best plot twists I have ever read. The battle with Sasser alongside Derek, Colin, and Lovia was so peak, and it was sad to see Colin and Lovia die in the process. However, the City of Silver was finally freed, and light was truly the meaning to everything. Finally, in first place, as you might have guessed, is Volume 8, The Fool. Klein's journey finally comes to an end. Finally, the Church of the Fool, the Tarot Club, was finally being acknowledged by the entire world, and Klein at a sequence 1 wrapping around everything that the first volume has been building up to. The siblings' wedding with Klein being there was gut-wrenching, and Klein doing some small tasks like entering Qualderon City again was nice to see. I also really like the coffee scene Klein has right before he attempts his apotheosis. And man, that fight was the best in the series. It was so complicated yet so amazing I really had to read it so many times. The gods descending was hype as well, and Klein trying to steal Antigonus's fate was hype as well. I don't remember what happened to Antigonus after that though, so if anyone knows, please tell me in the comments below. Anyways, Klein becoming the Fool, and also immediately after blasting Aemon with a supernova, was peak fiction. The Fool's Gambit was so crazy with Klein's banger quotes, although I wish it was a little bit longer. Finally, Klein has his last visit with Evernight, and also the last Tarot Club meeting. Then, along with the Rhodes, he enters whatever is awaiting him on the other side of the Lovecraftian door. Truly an amazing conclusion. Anyways, that's the Lord of the Mysteries volumes ranked by me. Make sure to like and subscribe, it's free and helps out a ton. See you next time.